I'll call the Londonderry, New Hampshire Heritage Historic District Commission to order for March 26, 2026. Time marches on. Let's see. We got our newest member, Denise Nash, here tonight. She's an alternate. And Krista Guinea could not make it because her son is sick. I talked with Megan Thompson earlier, and she said she's planning on coming, but I don't see her. So we have, so one absent is Krista, and I'll appoint David Ellis to vote for Krista Guinea. And with that, we have 7 voting members, a quorum, and we can proceed. So first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of February 26, 2026. If anyone has a question or a comment or anything or a change, just let me know. If not, I'll take a motion to accept as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept as presented.
Second.
Motion by David E., second by Ted. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, vote nay.
Abstain.
David abstains,
You abstain.
Denise abstains, John abstains.
I was here, right?
I read it.
Yes, you were here, Sue.
Three abstains.
Yeah, 3 abstentions, and it'd be 4 ayes. Okay, and the motion carries, the minutes are approved. Next, we get into the meat of our meeting for tonight anyway. We do have more things coming up with the rules of procedure and the Londonderry Lookbook for discussion, and then public input at the end. But applications for advisory input to the planning board. We have a subdivision of 16 residential lots and associated site improvements in the agricultural residential 1 district, 35 Elwood Road, tax map 5, lot 39, 16 Dan Hill Road, tax map 5, lot 39-5, 54A Elwood Road, tax map 5, lot 40, 68 Rear Elwood Road, and tax map 5, lot 72, estate of Wayne Elwood, care of Linda and Christina Elwood are the owners, and Belize Realty Holdings LLC is the applicant. And yes, sir, you got the floor. I just want to point out, the only thing that we are looking for as a Heritage Commission is our architectural design, landscaping, that type of stuff. Subdivision, we don't worry about that. We just have the only thing we're interested in is stone walls and any historicalness to that property.
Good evening. So for the record, my name is Doug McGuire. I'm with the Dubé Group. We did proposing the subdivision on the property. I'm here representing the applicant Belize Real Estate Holdings LLC. And as you stated, we're here tonight to discuss a frontage lot subdivision located off of Elwood Road. The properties are fairly large and span on both the north and south side. The cover that's on your screens right now is a good overall view of what we're talking about. And essentially, what we're talking about is everything in red. And so the red is the limits of the property. So you have 2 lots to the north that one of them is lot 40 is 58.5 acres and lot 72 is 16. So you have about 75 acres on the north side of Elwood. And on the south side, you have 2 lots. One is lot 39, that's about 48 acres. And the lot that is shown dotted off of Dan Hill is 2.7, so you have about 50.5 acres on the south side of Elwood. And so what we're proposing at this stage is to just create a frontage lot subdivision on both sides. So we're creating on the north side 5 single-family house lots. And on the south side, we're creating 11 lots total, so that 1 on Dan Hill and 10 fronting on Elwood. So as far as the south side goes, what you see on the Elwood piece, that's the most there's ever going to be. You're basically subdividing with applicable frontage. And, you know, we looked at possibilities of putting a roadway system in or something like that. And it seemed to make more sense, meet more of the character of the area, just to kind of have some frontage lots along that. They're all oversized lots, larger than your regulations would require. You can see that the parcel on the bottom off of Dan Hill is a larger lot. Currently, Dan Hill is not upgraded to a Class 5 road all the way through, so there is a possibility of future subdivision, but it would require an upgrade of Dan Hill. So whether or not that will ever happen, I can't exactly say, but at least as of right now, the applicant isn't proposing to upgrade a majority of Dan Hill to acquire some potential new lots there. But there would be a possibility, as far as the amount of frontage that is there, for there to be some additional lots off of Dan Hill. On the north side, you can see we have 5 lots that we're creating. The reason why the lots on the right-hand side, the east to the east, are much larger is because there's an existing power line easement that goes through there, if you're not familiar with the area, but there's a power line easement, and obviously you can't put new residential homes under that easement. You can utilize it for driveways and things like that, but you can't put new house lots. So we have essentially, those are oversized lots, which will be 1 single-family home each, but the majority of it will be a power line easement. I will say, just, you know, for full transparency, we've been saying this through the whole process that we've gone through, is that our intention is to contemplate a potential subdivision roadway in the large oversized lot to the north, because it's a good, deep lot that would allow you to come in and you can see the subdivision right to the, I guess, southwest Nettie Way. There could be something similar in that manner. However, the majority of that lot, at least half of it, is very steep, so we don't anticipate it being much more robust than the Nettie Way type subdivision. It'd be a cul-de-sac roadway that would come in, but that's being contemplated as would be part of a different application. We would come in with and we would, of course, come before you with that as well, if and when we move that forward. But that's why that lot is oversized. I think that's about 60 acres, that one lot oversized. But so as of right now, it's just being subdivided as a single-family lot with 60 acres. But we are contemplating and looking at options of potential subdivision there. As far as what is, as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, in your purview, specifically historic pieces, the house on the property to the north, the old Elwood home, does show up on your historic mapping in town. We reviewed that, and just to see, it is on there. Unfortunately, the home and the barn have been left to just disarray. The home, the roof is collapsed entirely. The entire first and second floor have fallen into the basement in a portion of the home. And, you know, it's been open to the elements for over a decade, and it's just been getting worse. So it's really not salvageable in any manner. And the barn is actually even worse. I did bring a couple photos if you're interested in seeing them.
Sure.
You know, I just figured you'd want to see what the latest is. If you go on Google Street View, you're like, that's not too bad, you know, because I did the same thing.
Yeah.
But then the applicant said, you might want to go look like now. And so this is, if I may.
Yes.
This is,
Oh, thanks.
sure. This is a picture of the home, and the second picture is the barn. And it's just, you know, it's unfortunate, but
It's fixable.
I think I'll let you make your own determination, but
Yeah.
I think we're a bit beyond
Oh, yes, the roof,
repair.
yeah.
So you can see
sad, but
The full collapse, and you can see the barn. The barn, believe it or not, it's even worse than the house. It's just the entire roof is collapsed, and there's just a bunch of material in there. So, you know, obviously, we did look at that because it is on your mapping, and I'm sure it would be a question you were interested in. So
Yes.
that's why we looked at it. But I don't foresee really any possibility of preserving either structure in this case.
Yeah, I think there's no need for demolition delay even.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, that would be so anyone from the, if, on, you know, the owner's permission, if the Historical Society could go in and look and, you know, if they're willing to give any artifacts of, like, literary history or, but I mean, looking at it from the outside, nothing looks significantly salvageable.
The applicant just took, actually, I mean, as you can see, it said we were representing also the owners of the estate, but they did actually close in the time that we've submitted this to now. So the applicant is now the owner of the property. They haven't been over to be in the structure, but I did talk to them about that because being that this is the Elwood Farm and it's been that way for over 100 years, there could be some artifacts or memorabilia or something possibly, and they were open to exploring that. They kind of wanted to go over there and see what the status of that was, but we could certainly, you know, keep you informed of that. I can tell you right now, from what I saw, it was, I kind of poked my head in and I thought I could be killed here. It was, because I mean, the entire floor is in the basement on half the house. So do I really want to go to the other half of the house? You know, I didn't really want to be walking around in there. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, if there is anything and as part of, because, you know, it's possible, and we would certainly be open to whatever the appropriate, I was going to ask you what the appropriate authority would be to, like, would that be you guys that we would bring that to, or is there
Probably the
a group
Historical
or-
Society itself would have more detailed interest and more knowledge about it than,
yeah.
I mean, we're really a town function, but trying to preserve history and
Sure.
at least, you know,
Well, we could always follow up with Kristen if we find anything that she could direct us to the appropriate parties, or we could,
David,
Yeah, there are-
David is probably one of the, would be a contact.
Okay.
anyway.
yeah, there are two active members of the Historical Society, David Colglazer and myself,
okay.
on this board. I'd certainly be interested in taking a look at it if the owner was willing to accompany me and just to see, but from what I can see here, I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm not sure I want to go into it.
Yeah. I mean, there did seem to be a lot of at least from the barn standpoint, and you would know more about what you're looking for than me, but I mean, it was a lot of, I don't want to use the word junk and be disrespectful, but there was some junk in there. And it had all, I'm not saying just the debris of the roof, it was like, there was a lot of trash in there,
Yeah,
in the structure itself.
Ew.
I don't think we want anyone to set foot with an unknown underneath and plunge 12 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, you might find something in the house, like sort of balustrades or something that are historic, that kind of thing, but without putting your head in the door and taking a look. Other than that, as I say, I'm sure the Historical Society would love to hear from you.
Sure.
How about, Mr. Chair, if I could,
Yes.
elsewhere on the property, have you had a chance to walk around? I'm assuming that an older farm like that might have perhaps old farm equipment or something that's not in these structures.
Looked like that, we didn't see anything in doing survey that like any like large pieces of equipment or anything like that. There was like what looked like a old manure spreader in the barn, but I don't know if that's exciting. But
I'm sure the manure spreaders didn't really have much anything of value.
Lawn ornament.
We had one of those in the Historical Society and got rid of it about a year ago. It was a
Oh, my mother.
liability.
Doesn't take them long to get well rusted. Anything, I'll start with Denise, we'll quickly go through. David,
Yes?
anything else?
No, I don't have any interest in that.
Sue?
Stone walls, any stone
Stone
walls?
walls.
There
Uh,
are
the stone
there are a
walls-
couple perimeter stone walls that we're not proposing to alter because there actually are boundaries. So we kind of lucked out that there isn't any like in the middle of the lot, and so obviously those will stay, those existing stone walls.
At some later date, where I might ask them about permission just to go on the property and photograph from the outside. So that would be something I could do in the future when it's dry and pleasant weather.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and obviously, we're just starting the process with the planning board and everything. We're going through the design review process. So we haven't been to the board or anything, so we have some time for the nicer weather to come.
I don't think there's gonna be any involvement from this board for demolition delay either.
No, I think, if you can't
They
set
haven't
foot in it,
requested
there's a problem.
I would set foot in it.
Anything, John?
Little premature, but are there a lot of active, I don't know if that's the right word, apple trees on the property?
The southern side of the property does have a number of apple trees. They've clearly not been maintained, and I'm learning more at like how much apple trees have to be maintained, like with the pruning and everything. So I mean, they're definitely looking very scraggly, but I think certain homeowners, if they were open to, I mean, they'd have to know that it's going to be their responsibility to maintain these trees. So I guess what I'd say is the developer has no desire to like clear cut everything. If there can be some trees that are kept, they'd have to kind of work with the prospective buyers to, because what you don't want is you don't want to leave like a scraggly row that they're not going to maintain, or some are going to do something and some aren't, or so. I mean, there would, I guess what I'm saying is there would be a possibility, and I've seen it in other areas of town where there is a few apple trees in the yard, or they left a few of the row. I think that can happen. I think it would look nice if that were to happen. It would improve the look of the development overall, but I think it would just have to be kind of on like a lot by lot basis and say, hey, because we do have to have certain locations where we put the driveways in because we have to meet site distance and everything. And we put all that in our plan set. We have like 20 pages of site distance profiles. It's like absurd. So we do have like certain spots where we're coming in, but then we could also say, okay, well, let's navigate this way to get to the front of the house, or how we situate houses so that there could be potential for some of those trees.
You also need room for septic fields to go in and.
Oh, for sure. But these
Or-
lots are deeper because of what we're doing. We're not putting a subdivision roadway in on that side. So if homes wanted to be set back, not like 50 feet off the road, but like 100 feet off the road, there might be an opportunity to, keep some of those trees if they wanted that as an aesthetic appeal, before we just cut them down or something like
But
that.
we've also seen in town where if you don't maintain apple trees, they become a black forest that you can't walk through. And so if you're not going to maintain them, it can be quite a nuisance for the homeowners as well. So,
Good point. And that's kind of our thought, is to say, we aren't going to say, hey, we're leaving a whole row and this is your problem now, because they might say, well, I don't want that, or I'm going to cut that down, so we're just going to kind of try to, as lots are being developed, if there's opportunity to, create some of that, allow that to stay. Because, I mean, there is a number of trees through there, and there's a number of trees in the, the power line areas as well. So like, but again, it's like a homeowner might say, like you said, like I'm not a farmer. I can't maintain 25 apple trees. So, it's just something that it's an opportunity if certain buyers want that. And as I said, I mean, I did go just driving over there to take photos. I saw, there were some single family homes along the road that had either planted their own, which I doubt, or maintained a few trees, in the front, which was nice to see.
I guess my point would be that apple trees are somewhat historic in nature in our town. It's kind of a big thing, and it might be an idea to consider in terms of preserving that heritage where you can.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like what happens is you don't build till you have a buyer, so the buyer would have input on what the,
Many times they do that. Sometimes there's a spec house that's done, and that, you know, that would be, I guess, a decision they'd have to make based on where they land and that type of thing. But I guess my point just was, they recognize, the developers recognize that that could be a potential positive. And so they're gonna at least try to reflect that and, you know, at least discuss that with buyers as they come forward.
well, and perhaps the other thing is you're doing your drive through the area there to see maybe what other folks have done in terms of having, it sounds like a few select apple trees in their yard, and maybe that would even be a feature you'd consider for some of these houses. I agree, maintaining 25 trees is not my idea of fun, okay? Apple trees, but
You gotta have a
One
love
or-
for it.
one or two, okay, or a select period, or a select number might be of interest to some buyers. So,
Absolutely. I mean, obviously the developed area of the lot where where you're situating the house and the septic, those areas would be, cleared up. But where you're against the road, and right now there's a row of trees against the road and then a second row behind that. So if two could be sit in line and then the driveway comes next to it and that they're on their property and they appreciate that and, willing to prune them up and try to take care of them a bit. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be getting tons of apples by going through all the fertilizer process and the pesticides and all that you have to do for that.
you might be surprised, this town is opened up for chickens for people and for all kinds of things. You might find somebody that wants to be in the apple business in a small way, so a
Sure.
suggestion.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that it is all cleared as a field, but with trees. So it's not something that they have to clear cut areas. They could come in just for lot development, do that, and then decide what could potentially stay or not based on where the driveways are coming in, And also, and like I said, discussing with the homeowner to say, hey, would this be a nice feature? Would you like to have this and this here and maybe two right here on your frontage? And they might want that, right? And I think there would be buyers that would want that. If they're familiar with Londonderry and the history of Londonderry and surrounding areas of the orchards, it might be a nice feature that you see.
Yep, and I think the stone walls are kind of like a hallmark, but usually what we do, request of a developer is that, if they need to tear a stone wall apart, is to use it in part of their
Sure.
landscaping and probably the aesthetics that, they could decorate with it and so forth.
Yep, understood. Yeah, and I know you guys have brought that up on other projects that we've worked on, and we've done that. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't seem to apply here just because the only walls we found were perimeter walls that would just maintain existing boundaries.
Yeah.
But obviously, if there's opportunity to use them, we would use them.
David, you have anything?
No, I was going to offer you a card for the Historical Society if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a personal one, but if you send an email to that.
I appreciate that.
Jim?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, Ted?
All set, looks good.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to mention, if, we know that it's over 100 years old of the Elwood Orchard, like a sign, or maybe, the name of the whole thing would be, like Elwood Orchard, to note where, the farmhouse was, and then, back to the barn, even though they'll be gone, but just to, as a marker, historical marker type of thing.
Mhm.
It could just be a very, very simple sign so that people would know, especially newer people moving into town. Because one of the hallmarks of Londonderry is the apple orchards. Potato is another thing also. It came from Londonderry. But I think this is, I would say that we recommend to the planning board, as presented, and, what you're gonna do with the stone walls to mention to the planning board, and also the apple trees. I think the planning board would have some input there also. You know,
Sure.
to kind of maintain some of the historical aspects of it.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's a value added to the development, you know, for a residential development to be able to have that. So I just wanted to be clear that it was like, if you have a homeowner that's like, I don't want to maintain those, it's almost like it's going to be counterproductive to, you don't want it to just look like a mess. You want someone that's going to be interested in,
Yeah.
and having that be a little bit of a hobby, which, you know, if I was going to move there, I would be interested in having a few trees. I think that would be neat. You know, you bring the kids out there, they can participate. So, I mean, I think it could be a good idea. We just have to find the right buyers that would want that. That's all.
I know Woodmont has some residential parts of single-family housing, and it's part of a, like a condo setup, but there's an agreement, homeowners association that kind of does the
Right.
maintenance of stuff. So,
That makes it easier.
yeah. Okay, that will be, you got that, Kristen? What we do recommend?
We don't have to worry about the demolition committee.
No,
We are, I think.
I don't think there's much interest in, I think David will be communicating
Yeah.
with,
Yeah, if you send me an email sometime, and I'd like to sort of at least take a look. I'm not sure I want to
Sure.
go in, but
No,
go in.
yeah.
I'll go in.
so maybe David and Sue from
He
the
doesn't know
Historical
I'm on-
Society.
I'm on there too. I'm on their demo. You said him, but you didn't say, but I'm on it too. I've been on it, long time,
Yeah, well,
but
What demo is under this committee now, right?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
It no longer exists by itself.
right.
It's all part of this.
but we're not,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not gonna get this project in trouble by, we just, do they have to do something to demo this building, or is there a procedure they have to go through?
that's
or-
through the building inspector,
Okay, so they don't have to do anything with us.
yeah. They the building inspector might ask, because it's a old structure, it has historic connection and everything, but, I think we know what the answer is.
Well, as I said, I mean, if there's some, I don't know what the right word would be, like artifacts or memorabilia or something that someone could say, like if you had a little presentation area in the Historical Society, like a little case that said, hey, this is the Elwoods, and here's their,
yeah.
love letter that they sent to somebody back in World War II or something, something along those lines. Then we could, anything like that is found like that will, they want to provide that. So,
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
we're all set.
all right, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have is a subdivision for 2 residential lots and associated site improvements in the agricultural residential AR1 district, 17 Stonehenge Road, tax map 12, lot 124-9. Second Stonehenge LLC, care of Aaron Ravenel, owner, and Elm Grove Companies, care of Aaron Ravenel is the applicant. And anyone from that group is here?
I
Nope.
don't see them.
Nope. It's a straightforward 2-lot subdivision, and I just see the stone walls that are on there are part of a lot line. And by state statute, you can't tamper with that because it is a lot line. Yeah. So, we'll see if they can make the next meeting, or this is nothing, I would say, difficult from that anyway. I think just seeing the plans. I don't know if the board had any comments at all. No, they probably don't need to come in, I would say.
No.
Stone walls.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's running over the old original Stonehenge Road, but I'm not sure, and
Yeah.
it's not a protected area in any way.
okay, so go to number 3. Site plan for Contractor Bay Development and associated site improvements at the Industrial 2, IND 2 District, 7 Plainview Drive, tax map 14, lot 13-4, Russell F. and Francis I. Wilmarth, Revocable Trust is the owner, and Hollis Construction Management is the applicant. And you two gentlemen have the floor. Just identify yourselves for our records, please.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the time tonight. My name is Wes Taggett from Hollis Construction. We are the construction manager for the project, and this is,
My name is Will Hess with Hess Engineering. I'm the civil engineer on the project.
Kristen, I don't know if we can skip to maybe,
Oh, sure, what do you need?
I don't know what the remote is up here.
that?
Just to the site plan. So the proposed project is an existing lot off of that's perfect, yeah. Off of Plainview Drive, the end of the cul-de-sac there.
Yeah,
We're pro-
yes.
We're proposing 4 prefabricated steel buildings to act as contractor bays, 4 in each of the larger buildings, 3 in that smaller one to the bottom right there. The project does include a couple wetlands crossings, but ultimately, other than that, is fairly straightforward in design.
Yep, straightforward. There are some stone walls, but they are property lines, so obviously they will not be disturbed. On the property, there's also, I think it's 5.2 acres that are in conservation, cannot be disturbed, and that abuts 3 sides of the property. Obviously, this is not a historical preview, but, you know, stormwater's gonna be managed appropriately through planning board and
Yes,
state
yep.
AOT.
That's where that would come
Other
from.
than that, I mean, honestly, there's no apple trees on the orchard, or on the property. It is
Right.
kind, it looks like to me, having done the survey, it was cut about 25 years ago. And now it's scrub brush and bittersweet coming back. So we are gonna take care of that problem as well when we clean this up. But there isn't, the wetlands are low-value wetlands. I know people don't like hearing that, but that's how the DES terms these wetlands, is they're low-value wetlands. It's a commercial property. It kind of looks like it always has been in the commercial area right next to the airport. And any stone walls that do exist will be maintained because they are property boundaries.
Yep. Do you have any renderings or any elevations of it?
So we noticed, we did send them, Kristen, I don't think they were attached to the agenda. I can resend them to you now if that's easiest.
I don't have access to my email here.
They would have been in the Google Docs you
I
sent.
have, is, the travel rail,
They weren't.
It's not in this set?
'cause the
I didn't see it in the set.
No, they're part of a different
Oh.
document. So we sent it in the
that,
Google Docs.
some
They're all
put some-
separated.
Yeah, I didn't see it on what we had.
Yeah. They're prefabricated steel buildings.
Right.
It's what you'd
Steel.
expect.
Yeah,
Roof
Still-
lines are at 20
Still need
feet.
to see them, all right?
yeah, cause you sent them in?
Correct.
We sent them in, yeah, we sent them in,
Okay.
but there were a few different documents. Obviously, it was a large project we sent into the town, so.
Maybe you can send them out to us, Kristen, so that we can,
Okay.
we can take a look at them, but I think industrial building is an industrial building, industrial
Yeah, 20-foot roof line?
Yeah, they're single slope roofs, 20-foot roof line in the front, 17 and a half feet in the back. You said I can't email them to you.
I don't have access to my email
Gotcha,
here.
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Color black.
The only other thing I would have is landscaping.
Right.
Because I know there's a landscaping plan on here. The only thing I think we'd just recommend that you include purple lilac.
Purple
State
lilacs?
flower.
Yeah,
Okay.
And the other thing is, I don't know what there is for screening with the rail trail. Rail trail is still to the north.
So the screening, oh, sorry, I can jump in here real quick. The screening
Yeah.
for the most part is natural. There's about if I remember correctly, it's about a 20-foot elevation difference between the rail trail and where this lot is, except for the top right corner over there. So we would be working with the planning board.
do you
We've-
have the remote to highlight? It was here on Tuesday.
There was one.
We'd be working with the planning board to provide some natural screening there in terms of landscape.
These are just for the
But
TV.
the remainder is, there's really no seeing the project from the rail trail.
But it's actually just above where you see Storm Tech 2.
Right.
That area we will provide some screening, and that's the only area where the elevation matches.
Yeah.
Yep, so if we scroll over to my right. Yep, see where the 2 circles are, the manholes? Yep. Nope, over further right.
Yep.
right in there, right in there.
exactly,
Yeah,
thank you.
so we'll provide screening in there. That's the only place where the elevation isn't so different that there actually will need to be a buffer. Everywhere else, it's a 20-foot different grade and elevation. You won't be able to see what's up on site.
Right.
And we have quite a bit of a wooded buffer everywhere else.
There's actually there's a 2-layer wooded buffer. There's
Yeah.
the area within the boundary setback, as well as there's a clearing then for the
Yeah.
pressure main, and then there's another set of tree line on the other side of that, so.
Okay, I'll just quickly go through here. Ted, do you have anything?
No, I'm just glad to see the property be developed finally. We've seen a
Yeah.
couple of things come through and they don't always happen, so.
We're trying very hard. I mean, the last development, just to give a little history to it, was storage units, and they were gonna fill in all the wetlands.
Yeah.
They were gonna clear cut the site and fill in the wetlands. We're
Yeah, I remember
we're
that now.
proposing 2 crossings,
Oh, yeah.
and that was approved by both the town and the state.
Yep.
It never went forward. Now we're proposing 2 crossings
think
with a
they
lot
put in,
more wood and a lot less impervious.
Extension on the sewer.
What's that?
'Cause they put an extension, I think, to connect to the sewer.
They were actually gonna put a septic system in.
Right.
Oh.
Because it was just storage units, so there was only really a
Yeah,
small
an
office building.
office.
Yeah.
We're gonna actually tie into the sewer, so we're not actually putting a septic right next to the wetlands as well.
Okay.
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
David? John?
So, the screening, we're talking trees, et cetera, or?
I think well, at least we thought that would be the most
Yeah.
straightforward solution, yeah.
I mean-
Because even still, I mean, there is still 2 layers of wood line between the rail trail and that corner. It's just the elevations get a little closer to being similar.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, the best screening would be a small row of white pines in that area. They grow to be 40 feet tall. They grow to be wide. They don't shed in the winter.
Right.
They protect everything. But I think it's only about 81 feet where the elevation even gets close to matching to where you might be able to see it.
Sue,
Guess I'm okay.
you're all set?
Yeah.
David? Denise?
Can you just describe how the wetlands will be impacted?
So the wetlands will be impacted. There are 3 crossings. There's 1 for the entrance in, and then there's 2 to create a loop road, which is both for truck access, but also for fire safety. Fire trucks need to be able to get around the property. These wetlands, like I said, are low-impact wetlands. If you go walk the site, which, you know, we've signed permission for anyone from the town to go walk the site.
Right.
You'll see our wetland flags. You won't know you're in wetlands.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it changes, but doing our due diligence with a wetland scientist. So we're gonna put in 3 18-inch culverts. Originally, actually, 8-inch culverts handle the amount of water that could come through there at the highest flow. We're going to 18-inch because Fish and Game wanted us to do culverts, put a little gravel in case the turtle wants to get through.
Right.
But realistically, when you hear wetlands, it's different than what you see. When you walk out there, you can't tell a difference between one side or the other of the wetlands.
Yeah, a lot of it is the type of soil and
It's the
everything.
soil type.
Exactly,
That's,
yeah, it's
and
the
there's
soil.
not even, you don't even have the plant growth. No ferns or anything. It's just soil type is the
Yeah.
only thing we hit.
The vegetation that grows and how much water it holds also.
Yeah.
But actually, you could go out the end of Plainview, and you can look over and you can see Hall Road.
Yep.
All swamp between there and Hall Road.
Right. Right.
Mr. Chair, I got one last question.
Yes, Ted?
Are these going to be split up into condo units for commercial contractors, or are they?
They're for lease, so.
Or lease,
we're-
yeah.
We're still, we'd be leasing each unit. Like I said, there's 15 units total.
Okay, it just wasn't delineated on the buildings.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, the intent is to lease them out individually as units.
Okay.
Yeah. The current use we're going for is S2, which really covers general warehousing, which ultimately covers a typical contractor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No specialty uses.
Yeah.
um,
No S3,
being
no
included yet.
chemicals, no huge fire issues. We're keeping it. If someone wants that, they will have to come back before you and planning board and get the proper fire suppression. You know, it creates a whole new ball game, but they have to come as individual owners.
Yeah. And any signage?
Yeah, there's 2 site signages, really just Wayfarer signage. And that was also included in the rendering, so when you guys get those, you'll be able to see.
Oh,
There's a sign, it's a little tough to see, but there's, at the front when you first pull in off of the cul-de-sac there, which ultimately directs you to which companies are at which buildings. And then there's a sign, so you see the red dot, it's just barely red, Kristen, right there. So that would be, a full-size sign that has all of the companies listed out and categorized to what building they're at. That would be a directory sign of which building is in which direction. And then there'd be, we were proposing them as building A, B, C, and D. There'd be an A on, or B on each building to designate those buildings.
So that you can send to Kristen, Kristen will send to us. the
We
board- I
probably
mean,
already
the-
have it, it's just not uploaded
Oh, you
here.
already have it?
Yeah.
Okay, just send it out to us. Any comments that the commission has, send it to Kristen, and that'll be forwarded to the planning board.
Great.
So this would be, I would say, as presented, and the lilacs, and I think what you've said also. I'm not gonna go, I think there are several other things, but it's more with the landscaping and
Yep.
the vegetation.
Yeah. We ultimately, we have, what, 6 interior trees
We
and
have-
then the
yeah.
perimeter trees. And then I guess we'll find some places for lilac.
For lilacs, yeah.
Yep.
We've met
You could squeeze
planning
one-
board's tree
One in
recommendations.
anyway.
What's that?
You can squeeze one in anyway.
We'll put it next to the entry sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Lilacs around the entry sign will look
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what everyone's gonna
Yeah,
see,
yes,
right? Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
it's what most people will see,
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
It's
yeah.
just a presentation you have of people going in, and kind of the secondary one is the rail trail side
Yeah.
of it.
I'll prune them myself yearly every spring.
Okay, any questions of us?
No? I don't-
No, we appreciate your time.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
When Elwood contacts
Mr. Chair.
me.
Yes, John?
What was the action step off of the Stonehenge?
There's probably, I would say from their plan, there's nothing that would be of, input for us, because of the stone walls that are there are property line markers, so they can't disturb them. So it's just really be as presented, from their plans, they weren't here, but I don't think they really need to be. I know in the past, there were some that was very straightforward, our own staff would just present. Okay, next,
So just to be clear, you're recommending that as presented?
yes, that's basically, and they're gonna, have told us they're gonna add lilacs. I think it'll be a planning board question also.
All right, I apologize in advance, okay? I wasn't here for the last meeting, but in trying to read through the notes and some of the new direction, it looks like, and I realize this is all new, but, we're supposed to see renderings and samples and et cetera, before we push things up the line to, planning board.
Yeah,
consideration.
it's supposed to be submitted, and then, I think prior to the meeting, it's supposed to be then passed along to us, so that we do follow what is on our procedure. There's a list of things for the developer to do. Because we get this right here.
So what we've ended up with, Mr. Chairman, for the first meeting post the new program here is one no-show that we're talking about perhaps pushing through as presented, and then a presentation for probably an admittedly easy for us to look at thing with no renderings, at least present, for us to look at.
Yeah, because what they are supposed to provide, applicant submission checklist, architectural renderings, number one, a site plan or presentation showing stone wall locations, historic structures, pedestrian circulation, walkways, plazas, landscape plan and plant list, lighting location and fixture types, sign locations, document listing what materials are using, and architectural renderings, massing models, 3D perspectives, or massing models. And that's basically how the structure is situated on the land and how it looks and so forth. So that's what we, this list is what we need to have, when we have our meeting, in the, as far as strict requirement that they be present, I know in the past, when I was chair, like 10 years ago, Staff would present, the very simple stuff because the developer didn't have to come in. And I think we need to go back to that point, because as far as that, it's just a simple two-lot subdivision. Why should a developer come in? I think staff can just say, or pass the plan out. We can read the plan, and we know right from the plan. Because I looked at it, I knew right away, this is as presented.
I can ask, if that's something we would do.
Yeah, but I think we need to stick to this list right here,
This-
what
yeah,
is
this
supposed
is
to be supplied to us.
Pretty new.
Yeah. This is kind of a hybrid, because they didn't have all the stuff anyway, but I think at least the plan was, instructful, and I think to kind of expedite things along with the last one we just heard. We will get that material after the fact, and then we can, if we have any comments, we can send it along to the planning board. Because the final decision is really the planning board, not us.
So what you're saying then, Mr. Chairman, is that if we have individual comments, we'll send those and those will be included?
Yes. Yep, to what the planning board will be getting. There's a list of, the design review committee. And that will go beyond that list, so. And the board has that information for the meeting so that they can do that. Not public comment time yet, Ray. We get our other business, which is rules of procedure and the Londonderry lookbook. So we'll go to rules of procedure. And I sent a comment into Kristen and Kelly this morning. I was just looking for clarity. And this is actually on the 5th page. One thing with this, we need to number the pages so we know what we're doing, or at least I like pages numbered. 7.6, where it says public comment, and this is what's allowed. I guess my recommendation would be, it would be public comment and public hearings, which is really the same.
Art, what's the issue?
The 5th page, that's my numbering, 7.6.
Okay,
The title of it is public comment, and I would recommend that we change it to public comment and public hearings.
well, it's under the
The only
public
time we have
hearings heading.
Pardon?
It's under the public hearings heading.
It says public comment at the top, that's the heading of it. And I
Art,
would-
but Art, she's saying right above that,
Oh, public
In-
hearings, that,
you see
Closed
public hearings
session.
right above that.
flip back,
Oh,
here you go then.
maybe that's what.
Here. It
It's
says
only
public
on the
hearings here.
it's at the start of clause 7.
Public hearings is the whole thing,
Yes.
but.
The public comment falls
I like
under
a
that.
Public comment is within public hearings.
Right.
Okay, I would like them separated out so that people can know what a public comment is and a public hearing. So they aren't asking us questions when they can speak.
There is a difference between public comment and public hearings,
Yes.
as we heard yesterday evening.
And then my other comment is we could use what is in the planning board rules of procedure in here, which is a little more detailed on how people should comport themselves.
Are you talking about the there's some behavior, like no name calling kind of thing?
Yes, the planning board has it in theirs, and probably just copy and paste from the planning board
Okay.
rules and procedures.
The presentation we had last night on right to know, he went into some of that and said you really can't stop people. It's a freedom of speech thing.
Yes, yep.
You gotta be careful what you try and stop.
Yeah, because I know the town council last year had a problem with use of profanity.
I know, and he cited that specifically, that you can't outlaw it.
Yeah.
You might want to, but what he suggested was the public comment be, you can set things like, no one can speak for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, yes, I know,
That
I
kind
know
of
that,
thing.
yeah. Because that's what we have. I don't think that's in the use of profanity or anything is in the planning board one, but I'd have to go back and look.
That you're not allowed to threaten or bully, that crosses the line.
Right, yeah.
The use of foul language is
So-
freedom of speech.
There's
So-
just a recent court case, I think it's Nashua, on individual giving their address. They refused to give their address, and they were not allowed to speak.
Well, you
That's
have, you
headed
have to be a
to,
resident.
it's headed to federal court.
Yeah, you have to be a resident. There's gotta be a way of identifying that you're a resident.
It gives more validity what you got, but I mean, there can be a very valid reason why, if, you know,
Yes, I forget what he said last night, but there was a police officer that didn't want to disclose where he lived because he was concerned for people
It could be a-
threatening his family,
it could be, it could be a
that
target.
kind of thing.
So do you want me to add a few more things and send another draft?
Yeah, send another draft
Okay.
out, please, and we can handle it at the next meeting. Next meeting is currently scheduled for May 28th. We meet every other month, normally. We do have special meetings in between for, you know, issues that have come up or developer needs, you know, information passed to the planning board quickly.
Art, I see here under other business, the Linear Lookbook, but I don't see any documents here for us
I
to
don't see
see about the
anything,
lookbook.
Yeah, because I thought from the last meeting that we're going to look at pictures that Kelly
Yeah,
had.
Kelly was going to revamp the whole lookbook for us and really update it and work with Kirsten as well, and
Yes.
I don't see any update for this for us to look at.
No,
I mean, at this point, we'd have to do it for the next,
Yeah,
next meeting.
that'll have to be pushed out.
yeah.
We have nothing to review.
But there's, we don't have anything here. I got some of my photos, and I think some of the others on my computer, but those are all passed along to
Yeah,
Kelly.
Kelly had them all and
couple years ago.
she presented it to us all at the last meeting, but
Yeah,
she was gonna revamp the whole document and include all the new updated photos but we don't have that for us to review right now.
yeah. I remember it was during COVID, we were, both the planning board and the Heritage Commission were taking pictures of structures that they liked. And it was all gonna be put together and, well, when that happened.
5 years later.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that is kind of, it has been pushed off, and I think we need to act on it as expeditiously as possible.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, is the version of the rules of procedure here, is that a draft or is that our current?
That's a draft.
That's a draft of something new.
That staff
Yes.
is working on.
Yeah, yeah, because Kelly and Kristen started working from I think, off of parts of it, but it's not all what we've got, because what we got right now is basically incorrect, so.
So there's a red line document that you should have access to, and
Yes,
what I worked on it for the most part. I made sure it aligned with the RSAs and any other things that had been mentioned as far as things that weren't really practiced or shouldn't be practiced, or, you know, got more in line with how the planning board does their rules of procedure.
yes, yeah. We really should be the same as the planning board, and I think the planning board, I think some of the change, I think Kelly had put in kind of what the town council has, so there's some continuity in
Art, do we want to include what we the document that you were also just going over as well, a whole section on that?
There, it is referenced in here.
Okay.
I think it's under
For what
section
we should be looking at?
564. Under the order of business for meetings, applications, nope, that's not it. Oh, all right. 6.2. The commission will use the Heritage Commission Advisory Comment Sheet.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
So you go through what we discussed tonight on the rules of procedure and then incorporate it and send it out to the
Yes.
commission again. Yeah, I was just looking for some continuity between what, planning board does and what we do.
Yep. That's the goal.
Yeah, Ted,
When does the developer get our checklist?
yes, the developer should be getting this. I don't know,
When do they get it
Well,
through the process?
when they do their design review process, it's our intention to send it to them so they can respond to those criteria.
And you get that back before this meeting's scheduled?
That would be ideal, yes.
Okay.
It may depend on the timing of meetings, but, they'll get it as soon as they file, so that they can provide that information.
Do they understand at this point, again, understanding that this is new, that they're supposed to come to this meeting with the materials in hand? I know you probably hand them, I know there's a lot of paper that
Yeah.
goes back and forth, but do they understand that they have to come with that stuff to this meeting?
They have in the past. You're talking about like samples and colors and things?
Samples, colors, renderings, all of that stuff. Basically,
Most of them understand that they need to provide that information.
well, one's a no-show, so I guess that's an exception, but we had 2 out of 3 tonight, didn't.
One of them, we have the information, it just wasn't put into this file to access for this meeting, which is something should have been done up in the office.
Who does it?
What?
Who enters that in?
Our admin staff, but, I should check to make sure that it's in there. So, it's a group effort.
Oh, but even so, that's the paperwork side of things in
Yes.
terms of renderings, but they didn't have samples either, so, for us to look at it. And understanding prefab buildings and all that kind of stuff, so I'm not going nuts here, but just in terms of, if we're trying to get on the road to righteousness here, okay, then we should all be on the road together.
yeah, because if we have to do certain things according to the list that we have gotten from Kelly, the developer also is going to have to supply that information, so I don't know if it could be, maybe dovetailing it with the checklist for, either site plan or subdivision plan. So they have it at the same time when they file their application. They should know what the planning board requires. At the same time, they should know what the Heritage Commission requires.
We've had this conversation before, and my position is if they don't bring it, continue it,
Yeah, I think that will,
because that's just wasting our time. And we can't do what we're required to do.
right, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
look,
straightforward to me.
Yeah, at least we had the plans anyway, and
Yeah, yeah.
that there is helpful, but I think we really need to see what, like a rendering, samples are helpful also, which I think is required, so I think we need to have that stuff. And it's making the developer well aware of what we need to make a recommendation to the planning board. And I just want one more thing, 'cause I know public comments coming up. I know Tony has something, and Ray has something also. Ted, anything on the Morrison House, Meeting House, Lions Hall?
From the town council and the town manager, not at this time. We've directed the town manager to look at all possible options upon what we can or cannot do with the building. We've left it wide open upon what he can look at for the building. Not sure when he'll be coming back to us with any recommendations or with any solutions. I will say for the next town council meeting, the airport director will be giving a presentation, so if anyone is interested in an update from the airport, the next town council meeting will be getting a presentation by the airport director.
Oh, that'll be good. Because I think they do it at least once a year, or used to do it.
They used to, I'm trying to get them to do it more.
Can do it again.
Yep.
Yeah, have that relationship. So, seeing, this is John.
Ted, are options on the table for the town manager for Morrison House, do they include a demolition of the current structure? Is that something that he's gonna be presenting?
That's one of his options.
Okay. And what about, has anyone discussed if you do absolutely nothing?
Hopefully, that will be one of his options as well that he'll be looking at, but that will be, I think, might take more of an in-depth look into upon what happens with the potential decay of the building over time if we do nothing.
Well, and we saw some buildings today on the first
Clearly.
presentation.
Yes.
Okay. Certainly, that's not the desired outcome on this whole thing, okay. Do you know if the town manager is doing a reach out to folks to see if they have suggestions for ultimate use of this building or disposition of the building?
I'm not sure what exactly his expanded search will be, but we've told him to keep the net wide upon all different types of uses and solutions.
Okay, last question, Ted, I promise. A date certain that he's supposed to report back to the town council?
That was not requested.
So you're a businessman, Ted, as I once was, okay? A date, absent a date certain, nothing happens.
This is true, but it may take him some time to develop some of these different types of solutions. So Rome wasn't built in a day, and it will take more than 2 to 3 weeks for him to come up with different solutions. So I doubt that there will be much commentary on it at the next meeting, but we may ask him, does he have any further update on that, or has he made any progress? And if not, then certainly I'll be pushing for him on some dates that, hopefully by maybe the end of May, he may have something for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure the council.
Oh, we
will be
haven't asked
pushing
them. Have you guys asked them
For a date?
for a date?
No, that
When
was
did-
not,
when-
at the meeting, that was not requested upon him for a particular date. But I can imagine it could take a bit of time
Well, that's okay.
to be able to come up with
Still,
different
give-
solutions.
Give me a date.
Yeah.
2 months, 3 months, 6 months?
Exactly.
At least there's a date on the calendar, and we're working to it.
Could it be declared an historical building so that it's open for funding?
So the town manager's gone over this in the past. There is no funding for historical buildings. This state has no money in historical resources. So certainly, yes, we could make it a historical building, but there would be no funding for it if we did make it a historical building, just to make it a historical building to try and get funding. The state's not putting money in that direction anymore, and it would be a potential fruitless effort, because also the other end is sometimes when you make a historical building under that designation, you then have more hoops to go through and have more particular materials that you actually have to use to go back to that historical time period if you want to renovate in a particular way. So sometimes makes it more complicated and more expensive on the town. And certainly the other end is the town manager's looked. He said there's no money out there for historical buildings.
Is that right, Mr. Ellis?
Not entirely.
He's done extensive research. He has looked. He's looked at all the
They
different.
made some awards in June and July.
Okay.
He's a doctor.
They do it every, not in historical matters.
Right.
They make a series of awards around June or July. Usually it is to buildings that have been registered with the state, historic buildings. Now, you are partially correct in that if you want to maintain that historic designation, you gotta do things the right way with the right material. But you're not obliged to do that. If you decide down the road that you no longer can come up with the money to do it that way and just want to fix it up using modern materials, there's no impediment at all to doing that. The state will delist it if they don't like it.
Okay. I mean, I've gotten a report from the town manager that he had gone through many different resources that the state used to have, and he had stated that there's no more resources within these different organizations that are out there that we could go after.
They've done this year's awards. I mean, there's nothing this year. The next lot will come up probably next June or July.
We will see.
Yeah, I had communication.
They publish it every year.
Yes, yeah, it's on a yearly basis. I know a certified local government is very sparse amount of funds, so
Yeah.
that's,
There's not a lot
gonna
there,
easily
and it's
happen.
usually matching.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we put no money up there. We have no matching funds.
Right, so you aren't gonna get a grant without a matching fund.
Right.
yeah, that's,
And you
One of
saw
the
the
thing-
results of the vote as the same as I did.
Yep. Yes, John?
One of the things that was discussed, I think, at the town council meeting was giving the building to the Historical Society.
That could be a potential solution.
Okay. We have two members of the Historical Society here, at least. Would they have any interest in that building as something to have that donated to them?
I don't think either of us can
No.
speak for the society. It would
Pretty
be a
easy to
matter
say.
of, we would have to meet and discuss it, because,
We just have about enough money to sort of keep what we have going.
yeah,
And even with that, we get some outside support from the town for that. So we just don't have much extra money. Plus, we do have another building on our property that we're not quite sure who it belongs to at the moment. But once that's determined, that could be something where we could use a lot of money to fix that up, but I can't see that we're gonna be doing that. You know, we got it started with a group of two people who had done some other work in town, gotten some other things for the Historical Society. And then this last building came up, and so they decided to start on that. Well, unfortunately, after they started, they both died within a couple of years of each other, so the spirit and the ability to get things done has not been picked up by anybody else. So, we're just sort of muddling along.
Kind of identified with that.
okay, nothing else, I'm gonna open public comment,
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Remember when we arm wrestled in the parking lot?
it
and I won?
should be age first.
Remember? Exactly. That's why I'm going first. Exactly.
Age before
Okay.
beauty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tony DeFrancesco, 1 Chester Court, a member of the Planning Board. Actually, I think I have a title. I think I missed a meeting and they made me something, but I
Oh,
can't
you're
remember.
assistant secretary.
Assistant
now, Tony.
Secretary, that's what it is. I can never
Some of the
remember.
important stuff to do.
Couple of things first. Y'all, this is a recorded meeting. Y'all need to pull your microphones forward, please, or step forward so that when it is recorded, people can hear what it is you're saying. I would guess that when I watch this tomorrow, 90% of the things that y'all have said didn't come through on the microphones. And that's kind of defeats the purpose of why this is done, and why they want this to be a public record. So please try to do that. I say that to you because on the planning board, we are constantly getting yelled at for that very thing. The town council is constantly being bombarded by people in the back Last night, we had the, I always want to call it the 1099 meeting. The 91A, the 91A attorney came in from the state, and there's people in the back saying, "We're talking to your microphone, we can't hear you." So please do that. I got a lot to unpack here. Start with the Morrison House, which I will always call the Lions Hall. For the historic people, I'm sorry that
Oh,
if
I like it.
Big deal.
I'm sorry for that, but it always will be. I have called many people, and I've been here since 1978, when Sue was one of my students, when I was a high school teacher at the time in Londonderry. And I asked a lot of people that have been here since before then, and no one remembers an article that got defeated so soundly as the two, especially the one in particular for the Lions Hall. So please keep that in mind. I know it's only 25% of the people that voted, which everyone was cheering. For me, 75% of the people didn't vote. I have a problem with that. But at any rate, leave that where it be. I don't know, when I presented to the TC, the town council, on Monday, whenever their last meeting was, I said, I don't know what you're gonna do. But it got beat up pretty good. So you gotta figure out something, because the people don't wanna pay for it. Or at least the people that voted don't wanna pay for it. The rest of the town, in my opinion, 75% didn't vote. They're saying, just tell me how much I owe. I don't care, I'm not voting, I don't wanna get involved. How much do I write the check for? Twice a year in taxes. So that's that. John is 100% correct on process on so many different levels. I lost count. I started writing them down. This process, this application checklist that the planning board spent quite a few meetings on, is supposed to be presented to 100% of the applicants and told, if you don't have everything on there, don't come to the meeting. Cancel it, push it, whatever. That's the process. That was what was discussed at the last meeting. I don't know what happened for this meeting, but it's the first time, whatever. You had an opportunity to show Google Maps on the property up at the airport, which is basically a bombed-out piece of land that Tamposi Nash raped of all of the topsoil in the 1960s to support all the buildings that they were building in other parts of the state, which is why all that land looks like that, okay? And their lawyers are probably calling me right now.
Yeah, keep away from the microphone.
Yeah, so the fact is, and I was looking at the proposed, I need a bigger phone. Your proposed items here on 6.1, I think it was, all applications for subdivision or site plan design reviews shall be reviewed in an advisory capacity by the Heritage Commission with recommendations made to the planning board. The second half of that is correct. The planning board never intended for you to see all subdivisions. We're very clear about that, okay? I don't know why that's written like that in the draft. And that draft is on the website. It is, I got it online as a public citizen, so all the documents are there, right? For y'all to review, and they've been there since the agenda came out.
Maybe for stone walls?
So I don't know who wrote that or why it was written that way, but it was not intended, the planning board did not intend this board, the Heritage Commission, to see all. Okay, there was a lot of discussion about how do we do that, and we were told we'll work it out. So I'm not sure what happened. You all can figure that out in the office tomorrow morning. I'll bring the coffee.
It's in progress as far as
Okay.
sorting out which things are going to come before and which things are not.
Okay, well, this is a draft.
Yes.
This is a draft document of what they're gonna propose as their RMPs, right? So, I don't know why it's there, because we already know that's not what the planning board wanted.
Right.
We'll move on.
Could I ask a question?
100%.
If we don't see all applications, how do you safeguard against an application impacting a historic resource?
That's the elephant in the room, Dr. Ellis. Sorry, Mr. Ellis, you asked me not to say
No,
doctor.
I don't care.
apologize.
My doctorate
so-
is not in this business.
But that's the elephant in the room. In the room, I agree with you 100%. But if we just look at that two-lot subdivision, why do they need to come here? Why can't they move forward to the planning board without being here first? It's a waste of time. It's a
Aren't
waste
we
of your
stone-
time,
stone
and it's a
walls?
waste of the applicant's time.
Yeah, because I looked at the plan, there are two stone walls, one is perpendicular, but they followed the lot line.
They're on the lot line.
So.
It's in the
we don't have-
regs.
So they can't touch it, by statute.
It's
If
in
they
the
do,
regulations.
That's the building inspector's problem.
Correct. And it's staff's problem, and it's engineering's problem, and it's the
It
planning
shouldn't be
board
our
problem.
problem.
But it should not be your problem, no, and it shouldn't have been the applicant's problem to have to waste time coming in. And I would suggest, Kristen, that applicant not have to waste time to come back here next month for these folks to say, yeah, you're all set. That
But
makes no-
suppose there is a historic resource there, either on the lot
Yep.
or immediately adjacent.
Yep.
What are you gonna do?
Don't know. That's the elephant in the room. That's for staff to figure out. The planning board made an edict, right? And the planning board said that to staff, and staff said, well, we'll work on that. What it shows me, and by the way, I'm here as a representative of the planning board, asked to be here by the chairman of the board,
Yeah.
okay? So just, it's not Tony D going wild again, because he's trying to be Italian. That's not the thing, right? I was asked to be here on behalf of the planning board. So,
Tony always gives good critique.
and I accept it as well. So
Yeah.
have at it if you need to.
It seems to me you're moving the review of whether there's a historic resource to be impacted to a town employee making that decision rather than this board.
Yeah, but there's I'm not gonna invent the wheel for you, right? But if I was sitting in your position, and I had the PhD at the end of my name, I know I could figure it out. In fact, if I was on your board, I know what I would do. But that's not my job. That's for you guys to do. For you guys to figure out and work with staff. How are we gonna do that? Because the planning board doesn't want us to see some of these things, but we got a problem with this. So how about we do that instead? What is the that? You're gonna have to come up with it. Have a workshop session, do something, but I don't see it as a huge problem. And don't forget, and you were in the room at the time, one of the four. One of the things that was said at that meeting last month was that the planning board is not a deaf-mute organization, right? The planning board is a very diverse group of people. Little Petey, Big Petey, Tall Petey, Short Petey, Fat Petey, all the Peteys are on the board. Been here a long time, Petey, been here a short time, Petey, all the Peteys. 100% of the Peteys are there on that board. There's 12 people. And they know Londonderry. And there's no reason why, and it's gonna come up, I guarantee it's gonna come up. There's one member of the board that sits right next to me that I know is gonna say, hey, what's going on with these rock walls? For that two-lot subdivision, which I hope doesn't have to come back here next time. So that can be worked out, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it for you. I have an answer. We can talk offline if you want. Feel free to call me. Kristen, I can't get to my emails? You gotta be, it's rhetorical. I'm sorry. The people are coming here, everything has to be prepared and thought about and understood so that the applicants have everything that they need, you know?
Right.
So, I wanted to jump out of my chair, and I'm sorry, but I just had to say it. Moving forward, hearings, a public hearing and public comment that you started to talk about, what we learned, I think it was last
Last
night,
night.
wasn't it? Yeah, it was last night. We learned that the public hearing and the public comment is two different things. Public comment, you can say anything you want, anytime you want, as long as you don't threaten anybody, because that's criminal. Criminal threatening. So you can't threaten anybody. Or you can't make people afraid to be in the room, because that's the same as yelling fire in a movie theater, and that's also criminal. The public hearing is a horse of a different color, which is what we come into at the planning board all the time, and you all at some point are going to get bagged for it too. An applicant at some point is going to say, what the heck? We came here to present on our little 2-lot subdivision, and they're talking about something that happened 15 years ago that was really bad, and we're getting grilled on that, right? So if it's a public hearing, you gotta have blinders on.
It's
This is all we're talking,
focused.
this is it. And the same thing when public comment comes up about something that comes before you, the same thing is true. The real reason I came here was to see, particularly because most of you were not at the last meeting, was do you have any questions about the checklist? Do you have any comments about the checklist? Is there anything that has to be further defined in the checklist? If you watched the video, you should have pretty much got it, got what we were trying to do, particularly the thing about site layout and pedestrian connectivity, which really is more about landscaping and streetscape, but not about sidewalks. That's a planning board issue, not a heritage commission. The other one was, there was a second one, I can't remember what it was. Jim, did you have something?
Did I have something?
Yeah,
No,
I thought you wanted to ask a question. But at any rate, if you have any questions, I'm here. If you don't, I'll let you go. But this thing, starting this meeting should have been, the applicant gets this when they are an applicant, and they're told, don't go to the meeting unless you have this stuff. Now, some of it is negligible, some of the things that are needed, but there's no reason, somebody's not gonna bring in a 4x8 sheet of plywood, but for all intents and purposes, if they can show you.
Little samples. I
If
mean,
they
they're
can show
brought
you a
into the
sample,
planning
they can
board.
show you, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I presented many, many years ago, when I was on the other side of the table, in this town, I brought a sampling of all the colors of metal buildings that the particular company I was using to build a commercial building, all the colors that they had. And I said, which one do you want?
Yeah.
Tell me which one. Here they are.
Some developers do that, they ask
Yeah.
us what color would
Sure.
the commission
Yeah.
prefers.
And I did the same thing all over the Lakes region when I was doing all that work, so.
They can't do it at that meeting. They need to know what we want before they get here. I think what we should do, in my opinion, is at the next meeting, take the checklist and we just go right through it, one by one, determine if we agree or if we don't agree, and
Sure.
go back to the planning board and say, hey, guys,
Yep.
we start sorting this thing out. Because, like Tony, I've been in town a while. I've seen North Branch, I've seen other people come and bring everything that we've asked for, and then other times, they don't even bother. Oh, you know something? We have people here that don't even want development.
I remember
So,
Joe,
we need this material so we can do our job. And if they don't wanna give it to us, we gotta get tough on them. Say, hey, look, you've had time. this is what we need, and if you don't have it, there's the door.
And-
You'll
and
be
I-
back when you have it.
And you're right, and I would recommend that, and we talked about that at the planning board level, when it was asked, well, what do we do if they don't have the stuff? And what we came up with, and it was agreement among the parties, a full board, or might have been only 11, said, then they gotta go. Then, see you next meeting, see you next month, or whatever. Now, that's harsh, but it's gonna start from the town plan or the planning department to make sure they instill the fact that, hey, this checklist,
Yes.
these boards are mandating that you have that, so you better have it.
And-
You
and
better
if you
figure out a
don't-
way to get it. If you can't get it for the next meeting,
You're walking out the door.
then push to the next
Or
meeting.
the next meeting.
So it's, because there's nothing that's hard on here. Nothing that I personally have not done before, and I was doing it in the dark ages before computers or cell phones.
I understand.
So,
I mean,
Can-
there's some
can I ask a
developers that.
question?
yes, ma'am.
The look and feel of a sign, whose purview is that? So that wasn't brought up about the sign that they're gonna put up with that with the
Oh, yeah.
We had no visuals.
20-foot buildings.
Well, for some reason, you don't have the visuals. They say that they gave it. They said it's in the files somewhere for some reason. You guys didn't get it. It wasn't in your file. Whatever the reason was, it doesn't matter. It didn't have it. But I think a good workaround, because it appeared to me that the applicant either didn't know, wasn't aware, or the process failed the applicant, right? And I think that's not fair to the applicant, right? And so I think the good workaround would be you guys get all the stuff electronically and then write in individually, say, I would like this, I would like this, I would like this. That can be compiled easily by the planning department, and then the planning board, when that applicant comes to the planning board, we get it all. And trust me, we will look at it. We will look at all your comments, right? It'll be a little bit more disjointed than it's gonna be the next time, right? And each time we all work in this new system together, it's gonna, hopefully, it's gonna get better and better and better and better until we get it perfect. And that's true of the planning staff too, and the planning department. This is all new to them as well, you know? And so,
Yeah, some of
yes,
us just.
John.
Tony, two quick things. One
Yes.
is, I think there's been a general reluctance in this board particularly to continue somebody that's come in to next meeting, and I understand that. You know, I know one of the objectives here was to streamline the process a little bit, et cetera. But, you know, I think you guys in planning need to see some of these materials too. So if they don't have them for us, okay, I know in the past chairman said, well, bring them to the planning meeting, okay? I think that's probably bad practice, okay? They probably should have them here, because if they've taken the time to bring them to us, they'll have them in hand when they come to see you guys, so.
I agree 100%.
So I think we have to get back, Mr. Chair, to somebody comes in, whether it's fault of staff or fault of applicant, with some mercy maybe there for a new process, is we need to start continuing people.
Well,
This is like a trial run anyway, and I think we've,
I think today.
well, we, I mean, but everything I learn is from my mistakes, so that's how you learn.
That's why I'm so good, because I made so many mistakes.
And I
That's
think
how I got there.
what's important to realize is, we don't schedule the meetings. The meetings get scheduled upstairs in the planning department.
Yeah.
So the planning department has to buckle up and say, look, if you don't have this stuff, we are not gonna give you a date.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
And
some people are gonna be ticked off, Tony, but you know
Sure.
something, they'll come around.
I agree with
You
you.
know it.
I agree with you. And Jim and John both, you understand too, and Jim, you probably know this, John, I know you pay attention a lot. The planning board has turned applicants away.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about once, I'm talking about quite a few times. You know, this is my third stint on the planning board, and we turn them away, you know? And so it's not like it's a new thing. And if these applicants, unless it's a long-time Londonderry person who's subdividing their own land, if it's a developer, a builder, or whatever, they've been turned away at other towns too. You know what I mean? So it's not an unusual thing. It's not like, you know, they've been slapped before.
Yeah.
They should be prepared.
And they should be
Exactly.
prepared. But
Spending the money to do this.
But to
they
Jim's
should be
point, it's gonna start in the planning department with making sure that they are aware. Now, if it was me, right, Mr. Bristle, in the planning department, I'd be nose to nose saying, hey, look it, I'm not kidding. You better fill this out because the Heritage Commission is gonna throw your butt out and it's gonna cost you time. So you better have this all done. That's what I would do.
Statement.
Kristen is a much nicer person than I am. She can do that same thing more professionally.
We tried to
Right.
do this in the past. And the question came up, well, we want someone to go into the review, the review meeting. And the planning department did not want anyone into that meeting. Well, the only way you know that they're doing what they're supposed to do is to have someone in there to observe. They don't have to take part, but maybe they did tell this guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they didn't want it. But I think that may be something that we should look into and have some representative watching what the planning department's doing in those meetings, because
Sure.
they can miss stuff.
Sure, so to that point, Jim, the planning department, the planning board.
Yeah.
I've been in a meeting every night this week too, and it started last week. My brain is fried.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
fried.
things have
But
gotten
the
busy.
planning board does, for some meetings now, provide an assignee or the chair of the planning board at some of those meetings.
Okay, that's good.
Particularly the bigger projects, right?
Yeah,
A
that
two-lot
makes sense.
subdivision, you know, we're all wasting our time.
Yes.
You know,
What
So-
kind of meeting are you talking about? Just like staff review with consultants? or
a pre-meeting or,
You have staff to go over these things before it gets to the board so that,
Yeah.
yeah.
The developer will come in and
Yeah.
they'll sit down and they'll review everything and go over.
There was one last week, you were not there, I was.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I know it's happening because I was asked to go.
No, I'm not saying that they don't. I'm saying
Yeah.
that's regular practice, that we sort some of these details out and tell developers and consultants, like, you're gonna need X, Y, and Z because the board's gonna ask for X, Y, and Z, or this doesn't meet this regulation, you're gonna need
Yep,
whatever.
yes.
That's why you have staff, so that as it gets to the boards, it's more
It's
cleaned-
packaged.
cleaned up.
Yeah, it's packaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, you're doing we get great stuff, you know, every meeting, twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month, we get great stuff. This is new. This is gonna be a process. We're rolling it in.
Gotta fine tune it.
Yeah, fine tune it. You know, you don't start with a snowman. You start with a pile of snow, and it turns into a snowman, especially this year. And so it's
Analogies.
I still got plenty in my backyard, but some of the pile of snow from the driveway.
yeah. But anyway, so this process came out of quite a few meetings on the planning board side. It was for 2 reasons. One, to help you folks. 3 reasons: you folks, the planning board, and the applicant. Right? 3-legged stool. Got to have all 3. Stool falls down, people get hurt.
It's really,
So-
should be done together, because when they come in with their application for, you know, a site plan or subdivision, the whole process with the Heritage Commission should start then.
Yeah,
So
and,
that they know when they meet, that they bring in the materials. you
Sure,
know,
sure.
And they have a rendering, and they,
And two, and to be fair, you know, I'll say again, the one example that I used last month, that we don't need or want, but we, the town, does not need or want an applicant coming to 2 planning board meetings, right? This one is a heritage meeting.
Yeah.
The next one is a planning board meeting. The one before that was a conservation commission meeting. And there were times, this checklist came out of, there were times that this meeting, your heritage meeting, turned into a planning board meeting. And it's easy to do, because your brain is, you're seeing the plans and you're thinking of stuff, and all of a sudden your brain blurts out of your mouth, well, what about, you know what? I think this could be dangerous right here, and you need to take out those 2 parking spots and put a shrub in, but that's not heritage. That's planning board, you know, but it's easy to do. Been there, done that. I understand it, which is why we thought, make it easy, right? Everybody's got a family, everybody's working, a lot of people have kids, and it's a long day. Have a checklist, your brain can shut off, just make sure the checklist is getting done. Next applicant, right? So that's how this was
I
born.
think we know what we have got to do.
Yep. So, thank you
once
so
again,
much.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we, in the next meeting, we pull out the checklist and we go over everyone line
Yes.
by line.
I also think it would be helpful for each one of us to have the checklist printed out for us
Yeah,
by
That
staff
was
if
the
possible.
concept. Jim, that was the concept, yeah.
I get it.
And by the way, the lookbook is online, I just found it.
It is,
If
but.
you look at the
but-
little,
They're updated?
But that's the old one.
I don't know.
It's probably the old one.
It's the updated one that we're working on. We do have a lookbook out
It's a
there.
bunch of colonial houses, they haven't changed.
Well, we have,
They knew were old.
yeah, but there were
Colonial
pieces with
Florida.
industrial buildings, there was other looks, there's other architecturals that should have been updated.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you all, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you,
Tony,
Tony.
get some sleep.
Yeah, Tony, get some
Ray,
rest.
Do you have to look at the lookbook?
no.
We don't have
We
it.
don't have it.
Moving along.
We already went over that.
It's the updated lookbook that we don't have.
I gotta sit down because I'm a little tired.
That's all right, Ray.
It's getting late.
We've been sitting all the time. You've been standing.
You been up with Tony?
Ray Breslin, 3 Gary Drive. And let's go to the beginning. Can we?
On the agenda?
The subdivision, 16 residents. I'll make this brief, okay? And so, we have an old apple orchard. They're moving forward with it. You folks had some concerns, questions. I believe they're gonna tear the buildings down. Is that the case?
Well,
Pretty much
Looks
what
like
it
they're
sounds
falling down.
That's what it sounds like, Ray.
They're gonna fall down by themselves.
Well, yeah, okay. It would be good if somebody goes out there and takes some pictures, right? I think that was already brought up.
Yeah,
Somebody
and
brought
I
up
are gonna take a
somebody
look.
brought up something about some artifacts.
Yeah.
I think somebody should take a look at that, maybe the Historic Society. That manure spreader, I'll take it, okay? But no, we can move on that one. On the subdivision, 2 residential lots, that's what you were talking about on Stonehenge Road. Is that the one?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on the
Yeah, and
south side, I believe.
and I think
No,
we,
it's on the north side of the road, but down towards where the Bartley Hill intersection is.
Yes,
It's where the old,
It's at the beginning, I think.
it's where
once
the
you-
old piece of Stonehenge goes up through the trees.
Yeah, because you go up by the trailer park. And
Okay.
the road curves to the left and you go up the hill.
thank you for, because I was a little confused on that. I thought it was down the other end of Stonehenge.
No.
It's down by the trailer park. Okay.
Yes.
That's the cut, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
McGregor's
it's-
cut.
McGregor cut.
The,
I would hope that the
it's in
stone,
it's where the old road used to be before McGregor went in.
right. And so I believe that stone is still there, right? Most important.
Last time I
Oh,
went by,
yeah,
it
the
was.
McGregor, they're not gonna be near that.
Okay, good. I think there should be a historic sign there, by the way. Probably be a
'Cause
good
that's
idea.
on the, that's on the property of the multifamily up there.
there's a pump station, I think, in relation to these lots that McGregor Cut uses,
Oh,
Stonehenge uses.
There's a water pump station that pumps water up.
Yeah, I think it's in that area.
Yeah, okay. Plainview Drive. I took a walk today along the rail trail. And the there was the rail trail, which was the former Lawrence, Manchester and Lawrence Railroad. Okay, that's where the rail trail is. To the, let's see, is that east or south?
Which way?
Towards the North Fire Station.
That is, south.
Yeah,
South, okay.
Yeah,
That's
because
south
that's
and
go all east.
Okay, so-
Easterly direction.
Little Coas Brook
Yeah.
is down there, okay? Beyond the rail trail, okay? Going the other way is the trolley path, okay? When the trolley ran, the Derry to Manchester trolley,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Where they're talking about is up
Is a little
beyond that.
further along Stonehenge,
and-
headed toward, like, I think it's more of an easterly direction.
And the elevation is in fact considerably higher, but it's not level land, okay?
Correct.
The closer you get south, it gets closer down to Little Coas Brook, all the water, right? My concern is this. Look, I'm kind of speaking as a private citizen, but you know who I am. I'm on the utility committee, I'm on the water subcommittee and all of that, which is very important, okay? But we have stormwater runoff, which we are
Mr. Chair, I
required.
think this line of questioning is reserved for Conservation Commission. not for
Okay.
us.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
either-
Good point, good point.
Yeah, either conservation or planning, because I
Yes.
know the drainage and
Yeah.
stormwater is part of the
Yeah,
site
th-
plan.
this is not necessarily the
But
place
no.
to bring this up.
Yeah, it's not in the purview of this. Where, you know, the architecture and, well, a subdivision is really, stone walls are what we are concerned with, preservation of stone walls.
Yeah. But sometimes we take into, or do you take into account historical
Yeah.
issues?
Yeah, that's the prime
Historic
thing.
resources.
Yeah, and the stone walls are kind of like a historic thing, and in our both site plan and subdivision regulations, we have, the regulations in regards to a stone wall.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would respectfully suggest that sometimes it's a good idea to actually go out and take a site walk, okay? Because, you're listening to what the developer brings forward, and we're assuming they're truthful, but sometimes maybe they miss something that could be, have something to do with heritage,
You have a different
historical.
perspective than what they do, and you might, notice things that picked up. Like,
Yeah.
most of these, I've been by them, I know the location, I've probably been by them many times.
Yeah, yeah,
Even then, things change.
yeah. I was kind of surprised that there are like
I've been up there, Ray.
roadways. What?
I've been up there.
You have, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there were actually roadways going up through there,
But like
pretty
you s-
wide.
Like we said, it's
You know.
no disrespect, but the stormwater, the runoff,
It's got nothing to do with you.
it has nothing to do with us.
I understand, I
I mean, I
understand.
would have my opinion on it, but this isn't the place.
The opinion is that the planning board or conservation commission,
Yeah. I know you discussed about 91A. You're back? 91A? Is it okay to say anything about 91A?
No.
no.
Okay,
that-
okay,
the
we're not
purview.
going there then.
That's not part of, we don't have the jurisdiction on that. I think most of us are well aware of 91A and.
Well, some of the things that I heard here, I might have a different opinion, and it's really important because public hearing is completely different than a meeting, and some people lose track of that. And that was brought up
Was,
somewhat at that 91A, but they did not address public hearing. And it's a different thing, and
there's
it,
probably a reason for it.
pardon?
There's probably a reason for it.
Oh, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, it's legal.
It's the right to speak.
Stay here,
Huh? Yeah.
stay here.
Oh.
Can I be recognized, please?
Yes, Mr.
Thank you.
Assistant Secretary of
Let
the
me get the
Planning
microphone,
Board.
because I already yelled at everybody. So, because I got slapped really, really hard
By me?
already for doing this, you have to be very careful when you step on someone else's land. even if you're doing it in the auspices of what you've been appointed to do, you are still, trust me, trespassing on someone's land without permission. So you can't just, I know you do it.
Apparently you did already.
I know
so
you-
got slapped.
I know you do. I know you do it, and I can tell you, I used to do it, but I don't do it
I
anymore.
look for those no trespassing
And I'm saying that on
signs.
camera. I don't do that anymore. and
Always ask
and I will.
them permission,
You have to
because-
always ask the owner, not necessarily the applicant, because sometimes it can be too different. So you have to figure that part out. So it's a good suggestion, but legally, there's problems with boards doing that. So
Well,
I just wanted to fill you in on
Make sure you
that.
get permission.
Yeah, because
Thank you,
if
Mr.
you
Chair.
do it, you might be looking at a shotgun, you know?
Yeah, that's the other problem.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
Well,
Do you have any questions?
no, you always keep us well-informed, Ray, you know, and
You know,
I think you keep track of our water, and I think one thing, this is a little off topic. The planning board should be looking in is, you know, groundwater protection, and they haven't done anything yet. There's
okay,
many things to
I
do
can't
with.
say anything more, but
Yeah, I know, that's, put my little, you know, off comment in. Okay,
thank you.
so, anything else to bring before the commission?
Yes, Art,
Yes.
how about, this came up maybe years ago or something, but something for the alternates to be able to read and see what we do. I mean, at least I sat in on 2 meetings. But I mean, to know that we like the peak roofs and the earth tone colors, I mean, they come on cold turkey and.
It's, most of this is, well, on-the-job training, but one of the things to do is to talk with our staff, you know, both Krista and Kelly, and they can kind of fill you in some of the basics, because, you know, basically, we are governed by statutes. And if you're really into, you know, state law, all the land use functions are RSA 672 to 678, so everything what is required of a historic district commission, a heritage commission, because ours is a, you know, a hybrid. And there's certain things that are spelled out in the statutes that we have to do that are also spelled out in the rules of procedure also. So that's basically the, you know,
The other helpful part will be is once we actually update the lookbook more correctly, that'll help for new members and as well existing members upon what we're looking for architecturally, color-wise, but also with our new checkpoints. It'll
Checklists.
really be helpful.
What possibly we can do is when we have our first meeting after the March elections, and that first meeting, maybe what we should do for the alternates and new people is just do a real quick outline presentation of what we do and what we don't. Because we all have to be there anyway,
yeah,
most of us.
yes.
I gotta be careful of that one. But I think, you know, I mean, just get into a habit saying, okay, we're gonna elect officers, we're gonna do this, and we're also gonna provide some information for the new members.
Yeah, because
Get it over with.
yeah, 'cause I talked with Krista some before she went to, I think it was last, meeting, the February meeting, but also Megan. We haven't seen Laura Schenkman in a while.
I don't even know what she
Uh,
looks like.
You know, basically what Sue said as far as, you know, architectural, you know, with, and this really applies to multifamily, not residential, single-family housing, but multifamily, commercial, and industrial. That's where we have, at least, you know, say on what the design, and the style, and landscaping can be. And most of that is a result of case law, where a town does have a right or its appearance and everything. There are two cases. Case law is a whole nother aspect because it's statutory law and it's case law. As, you know, being on the planning board, you really have to know both of them to keep you from getting into trouble. So that, you know, if you know what the law is, you know, you can. but you have to be careful with telling a developer what to do or trying to coerce something out of them, because sometimes they have a fear, and this is more probably with the planning board or ZBA. You make a request, and they feel the only way they're gonna get approval is to do what you request, so it's a very nebulous area. And, I mean, we have been in court, we've been successful most of the times, and a lot of it, as our staff keeps us out of trouble, and will inform us also. But,
Mr. Chair, I motion to adjourn.
yes, I went on long enough, Ted.
Hey, wait a minute.
Attaboy, Ted.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by David Cole Glazier. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yay.
We are adjourned.